Hello and welcome back to Starving Artist Courses, your all-in-one online music education resource. My name is Duet and welcome back to your bass guitar lesson. It's a new month, which means we're going to learn a brand new song. And the song we're learning this month is Beat It by Michael Jackson. Now remember, the way that this works is that each week we're going to learn one part of the song, and by the end of the month, you're going to know how to play the song in its entirety. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so the bass line is what makes Michael Jackson's song so hot. It's the groove and the funk of the bass that makes it so popular, makes the song stand out, okay? So we're gonna learn what the bass player is doing on this song specifically. Now remember, before you play any song, the first thing you wanna know is what key the song is in. Beat It is in the key of E flat minor. So when you hear me say minor, remember, we're following the minor scale pattern. We learned two scale patterns so far. We learned the major scale and the natural minor scale. The natural minor scale follows the pattern whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So if I start at the root, which is E flat, I want to go a whole step. That takes me to F. Next, I go a half step to G flat. After that, I go another whole step, which is A flat. Then I go a whole step to B flat. And then next, I'm gonna go a half step to C flat, which is actually just B natural, okay? After that, we're gonna go to D flat, that's a whole step. And from here we go our last whole step back to E flat. So playing it straight through, we'll go. Okay, so those are all of the notes that will be played in this song. That's the key that this song is in. Now that's just one position of where we can play that E flat minor scale, but we're actually going to play this song in this area over here. But before we do, the first thing we want to talk about is the tuning of the guitar. Now remember, standard tuning for the bass guitar, the low string here is E, this one is A, this one here is D, and then this one is G. But for this song, we're going to have to actually drop tune the guitar. So that's the standard tuning, but some songs, you actually change the tuning of the string so that it can fit and that you can flow better as you switch between the notes. So we're actually gonna drop this E, since the song is in E flat, we're actually gonna drop this a half step down to E flat. So for this, you will need a tuner. You'll need some kind of chromatic tuner, not necessarily a guitar tuner, because a guitar tuner will only focus on the notes or that the strings are supposed to be in standard tuning. So you need a chromatic tuner that will go through every single note up and down, regardless of if that's what standard tuning is for that guitar, okay? So I have my tuner here on my bass guitar right now. So I'm gonna turn it on. And then this is E. That's what E sounds like. But I'm actually gonna drop it down a half step. All right, and that right there, that's my E flat. All right, so now that the guitar is properly tuned, this is what the groove sounds like. All right, and that's that famous bass line that everyone knows when they think of the song Beat It. So now we're gonna dive in and break down what the bass player is doing. Now this bass line is pretty basic. We're only gonna use the first 4 frets of the bass, and we're gonna assign each a finger to the specific fret. So this is my first finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now when you hit the first note, it's actually going to be the E flat, and that's open. Then you're gonna use your third finger on the 3rd fret. After that, we're gonna do our first finger on the 1st fret of the A string. Then we're gonna do our 4th finger on the 4th fret of the D string. 1st finger on the 1st fret of the D string. 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. Then back to that 1st fret. Then we're gonna go back up to the A string, 4th finger, and hit that twice. So again, that's 0, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 4. And a little faster. And it's pretty much what the bass player is doing on this section of the song. Now, what makes this part real funky is how he's pacing and spacing out the notes, and that's the rhythm of it. Remember, we learned about quarter notes and eighth notes, and when he's tapping the notes on those quarter notes and eighth notes, that's what makes the song real groovy, okay? Now remember, we would count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That will be counting as eighth notes. So when he hits that first note, that E flat, he actually hits it and it's anticipated, meaning that when he hits it, it's before the 1. It's on the upbeat or the offbeat, sometimes we call it. So when he goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's on the and, it's not on the 1. And then from there, we keep going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so this time I want you to try it out. I'm going to tap my foot to keep the timing, and I want us to play it together. So let's go ahead and try it out. One more. All right, you just played the intro and chorus section of Beat It on the bass guitar. Great job. Now, 2 things I want you to recognize as you practice this week. Some of the notes are more connected as you switch to the next note, and some of them are separated. Pay attention to this. Okay, all of the notes up into were connected, but then that part breaks. Make sure that you do that part too. Pay attention to that. Don't connect it like this. That's not the pop sound we want. We want it to separate, because when you play along with the drums and the rest of the band, it just sounds hot when you separate those last 2 notes. So keep that in mind as you practice this week. Make sure as you practice this week, you start off at a slow BPM. You can start around 80, 90, 100, whatever you're comfortable with, but then work your way up to the actual BPM of the song, which is 138 beats per minute. Play along with the song and just play this groove on the intro and the chorus, okay? And if you need help practicing and staying on track with your practice, make sure to sign up for our mailing list at starvingartistcourses.com. That's where we'll send you our PDF, Finding Your Rhythm, Making Time for Your Dreams. It gives you 3 practical steps on how to dedicate time towards your dreams. So make sure you go ahead and get that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe, because next week we're going to the next section of the song, and it's all going to keep building until you learn it in its entirety. Thank you so much for tuning in to Starving Artist Courses. Go dream out loud, and I'll see you next week.